A member of my Bariatric Mind Masters Facebook group just put such a lovely post in that so beautifully describes the two parts of our experience that are at war with each other when we are trying to win at long-term bariatric maintenance or losing regain or whatever it might be. She wrote up how she associates the pastime of reading, which she's loved her whole life, with snacking. And so they go hand in hand for her, and she really struggles to do the one without the other. And obviously being committed to losing regain, to getting back on track, this feels like a habit that she needs to target, but she's so well aware that it's deeply ingrained and it's not something that is going to change overnight. And so she writes up how her habit brain wants what it wants, and it says, I want the snacks, I'm reading now, give me the snacks, this is not fun without the snacks, what are you doing to me? And this general argumentative self. And then her mindful, present, self-nurturing consciousness that is saying, but you don't need this. They don't need to go hand in hand. You can do this differently. And so she writes up this post, and I thought that I would respond with a video because I think it's quite profound. If we are trying to change a habit and we take an all or nothing approach, we're going to fail dismally because they are so hardwired. And so we need to change our thinking around habits, where rather than seeing them as something that we need to conquer with restriction and deprivation, which is going to set ourselves up to fail, we need to rather think about changing our identity. Stay with me. This lady is trying to become a person who no longer associates reading and snacking. That's who she wants to be. That's who she wants to become. She doesn't want to put away the snacks. She wants to become a person who no longer associates them. And I relate to this because I'm trying currently in my life to become a person who no longer ever eats chips or French fries. I don't see any value to either of them. They're laden with calories, they're moreish by design, and they just mess with my head and frustrate me immensely. So I'm trying to become a person who no longer engages in that behavior. But I'll be honest with you, I had chips yesterday, and it doesn't bother me at all. And even as I was eating the chips, I said to myself, you are becoming a person, I am becoming a person who no longer eats chips and French fries. But I know that there is a process, and I've submitted to the process. And from a neuroscience, neurocognition perspective, all is on track, all is well. And for my reader or my commenter as well, who wants to stop reading while snacking, she's at a phase of change and should be confident and comfortable with the fact that she's heading in the right track, but it's not an on-off switch. And if we see it as an on-off switch, we're going to fail and we're going to self-loathe. But if we rather just view it as we start with consciousness and intention, we start with who we want to become, and then gently we start telling ourselves who we are, we will eventually loosen the grip on that behavior and start to become that version of ourselves that we've aspired to. But it's step by step, and we're not on the wagon or off the wagon or screwing it up if we still engage in that behavior. She says herself, I've done this for 60 years. How do I change this overnight? And if I mess it up the day I decide to change it, am I now a failure? No. You have to work with your cognition. You have to work with your brain. You have to work with neuroscience. And you have to start to be in the energy of the person who no longer does that thing, rather than looking at it as restriction and deprivation. And we need to look forward to who we are becoming and cast our energy into the future in a positive, hopeful, intentional way. future focus rather than restriction and deprivation, and one step at a time, even if it is 5 steps forward, 3 steps back, 5 steps forward, 3 steps back. Consciousness, mindfulness, attunement is all progress. And so I want you to think about who you are trying to become, not what you're trying to give up. And let me know how that goes.